Good morning. Thank you for joining me again for Kingdom Kids. Well, today is our last day talking about Psalm 23. So I'm going to read it to you again, and then we'll talk about verse 6. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So like I said, we're talking about verse 6, the final verse, my favorite verse in the whole psalm. And, David, like we talked about before, was going through a really tough time in his life. And he had experienced disappointments, and I know we've all felt that. So how could he say that goodness and mercy would follow him all the days of his life? Well, he believed that God's rewards come after a trial. He believed he was being tested and that he would get good things in the end. So how is David's faith a part of this? Well, in Hebrews 11:6, it says, He who comes to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So David knew that God would not test him beyond what he could handle. And he knew that testing would make him a stronger person and that goodness and mercy would come. So the next time you're in a difficult situation, I want you to think about that. Think about how God does not test you beyond what you can bear. And like we all know, David went on to become king of Israel. And then he gave birth to Solomon, who was known as the wisest man in the history of kings. So what does that tell you about God's willingness to reward us? That they will come, and sometimes they'll come in ways we can't even imagine. So the last part of the verse says, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We often talk about going to heaven, but we don't really know a lot about it because it's something we can't even understand. It's so good, we can't even understand it. When Jesus was talking to his disciples in John 14:2, he said, In my Father's house there are many mansions. If it were not true, I would not have told you. And David also calls heaven a house. He says, I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. So why do you think we do that? Why do we compare heaven to a house? Well, because a house is our home, and there's no place like home, and everyone's home is different, but they're all wonderful and special in their own way. So that's all for today. I want you to think about the words of these psalms. You can play a game where you write down the words and scramble them up. I'm going to list some songs to them that you can play to help you remember these words, and I hope to see you all soon. Bye.